Man, I don't know how this works. It's all new to me. I guess some point, somebody's supposed to pop up there and talk to me. I don't know. Huh. Hey, how's it going, man? It works. Say, guess what, man? I'm getting some copyright notices, man. I was walking by the television earlier, and, anyway, how's it going? Anyway, scared the crap out of me, man. I guess a copyright notice is different from a copyright strike, and man, I don't want to get shut down, because I did go on my email and read about it, and it says if I get 3 copyright strikes, I guess it's with live streaming. Yeah, Disney says no. Hey, man, this is good. I can feed back with y'all and get the comments up here and get to respond to y'all and talk with y'all, man. It's good, man. Yeah, Disney says no. I'm okay, man. Classic Ride Society, yeah. Hey, this is a good way to communicate with y'all. Like, hey, man, it's kind of like having friends right there at hand, ain't it? I don't know what to say, man. This is the first live. Hot as hell right now. Yeah, it's hot, man. It's hotter than a VCR in a crack house, huh? Moody Waters, hey man, you're a good one, man. I see you a lot. You love the videos? I like them too, man. I like making them. Gunner Sean, man, it's good to see y'all, man. I wish I could see y'all like y'all see me. I guess I'll just have to go with the logos, huh? Yeah, I need to keep it straight, man. Keep it good. Tony Rogers, I just got my sequel changed to 700 at night and 100 in the morning. What's a sequel mean? I'm stupid on that one. The wife, she's sleeping right now. She's sleeping. I usually wake up about 6:30. Ryan Monroe. I'm bad with names, man. Give me a clue. Give me a clue. Ryan Monroe. Come on, give me a clue, man. Yeah! Now I know who you are. You're the kid that calls me, man. Are you the 14-year-old with the transmissions? That works on transmissions with his daddy? No. Okay. Are you the one? Well, Ryan Monroe. Landscaping and construction work. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, now I remember you. Man. Man, this is the first video live. I didn't figure you could shoot live streaming without being monetized, man. I haven't monetized my channel yet. I plan on getting on it as soon as I can, because I'm only hurting myself, huh? Anyway, I'm just sitting around here being bored. Moody Walters, do I need to give you a clue also? Man, I'm bad with names. What's on the arm? That's a nicotine patch. Trying to quit the damn smoking. No, you don't have to apologize for caps, man. That tells me you're really listening. I like loud people. I used to be loud myself, but my wife kind of calmed me down through the years, you know what I mean? She said, no more screaming. She had a hard time calming me down in public, man. I used to make a scene. But yeah, I'm just sitting here being bored on this hot summer day, and I want everybody to know out there, yeah, this is a nicotine patch, man. Doctors tell me if I don't quit smoking, man, I can't receive none of the surgeries because you don't heal properly. No, I can't smoke, man. Coochie Gang. Hey! There's one, miss. The Coochie Gang. My wife gets tickled every time she sees y'all. Every time she sees y'all respond. Danny G, they're right. Man, it's amazing how many people out there watch, man. It really is. I thought about just starting to chew after I get my surgery done. Limster's a pimp. Remind me of my dad. Going to do the video that you got caught with your knife when you were a kid. Rhyme and Roll, that's who you are, man. You're the knife collector. Now I know who you are. Well, dude, what? Come on, man. Tell me. Hold on. Oh. Well, I guess now's as good as time as any, man. Ryan Monroe wants me to share when I got caught when I was a kid with a knife, man. I was walking into a convenience store. It was Tootin' Total. The name of the store was Tootin' Total, and I walked in there, and the police officer says, "Come here," and he wasn't in uniform. He was undercover. And he says, you know, I'm sharing this view, Ryan Monroe. He walks in there and he tells me, he says, come here. He says, I need to talk to you. And he pulled me into the back room, in the back of the store. And he showed the badge to the store owner. He says, can I borrow your office for a minute? They said, yeah. So they dragged me in the back of that store, man. And the officer says, come here. And I was scared, man. I was about to pee myself. And what you should do, I'm not catching all the comments because let me tell the story. And the officer says, come here, and he reaches down in my little pocket that's on the front of your pants, and he pulls out this butterfly knife, and he goes, I mean, he was working that thing better than me. And I said, well, is it illegal to have that knife? He says, yeah, you can't have this knife. You're a minor, number one. Number two, butterflies are illegal. Butterfly knives are illegal. And it was a double-edged butterfly knife. And the officer says, well, he says, I'm going to let you go with a warning this time. And I said, okay. I said, well, can I have my knife back? He says, no. What are you going to do with the knife? Take it home? He says, yeah, I'm going to take it home and add to my collection of paraphernalia that I collect through all the years. Actually, me and that officer, we become pretty good friends after that, man. I was always in trouble when I was a kid, man, and he would always come around. He was they always sent him to come around in school and everything if they thought I was being bad, you know, as a young kid or anytime, because it was a very small town, you know. Anytime any trouble went down around and they were digging for people, they would always poke at me, you know. And they never did go to my house to embarrass me or get me in trouble with my parents. They would always catch me at school walking home or something, and they'd pull me in the car, and always scared the hell out of me, man. But if you know anything about this, or you know anything about that, well, come down to the cop shop over here. He said, didn't take advantage of the cop. No, I didn't. But anyway, he said he always would pull me back over there, and they would always give me the 10th degree and scare the hell out of me. And they would always ask me, do you know anything? One time they pulled me in there and they said, let me see your footprint. And I go, why? And he says, just let me see your shoe. And them cops are sneaky, man, because he says, you know, we recognize this shoe print to be somebody that broke into this closed down building over there. And I said, man, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. And I got mad at him, man. I got mouthy with him. I said, look, man, unless you got some proof, I said, I don't believe you, because I hadn't even been to that place. Don't even know what place you're talking about. I don't even know, you know. And then they had to sit there and poke at me. And they said, well, keep your nose clean. Get back to school. Yeah, I was a bad kid when I was a kid, man. I went to boys' home. I think I stayed more in boys' homes than I did at home, man. Every time I got home. every time I got home, they'd send me back away, man. And the boys' homes kept telling my parents, look, there's really nothing wrong with this child. He's just very hyperactive, and he just needs some attention, positive attention. And my parents were just busy. They worked all the time. They really didn't. My mama even admitted to me later on in life she wasn't really meant to have kids, and she's sorry for failing me as a mother. And I will, Addison Wickle, I'll take it easy, man. And thank y'all for responding. But anyway, yeah, it was a hard life growing up as a child, man. So I didn't do everything they thought I did, and I got by. I think I got by with a lot of things at a young age, you know, because I was a little too smart for them, you know. I will tell y'all this story before I go, man. One time, I was in school. This is a good story. Y'all are going to like it. One time I was in school, and I took my dad's watch to school with me. And it was one of them watches that sang. It was back in the day when they first coming out with watches that would go do-do-do-do-do-do-do. It was the Yellow Rose of Texas, I think it would. It was a Dukes of Hazzard, you know, whoever plays do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Anyway, the substitute teacher told me, she says, hey man, she says, turn that thing off or you're gonna get it taken up. And I said, okay. I said, deal. And then the hour of the mark came around. Beep, beep. That was it. She took it up. And I said, ma'am, I said, she says, you'll get it back. I said, okay, because I started crying. Because I knew, man, if I didn't take that daggum watch home, my goose was cooked, man. He was going to have my ass. And he always left it there on top of his nightstand, so he knew when it was going to be missing or not. So I stayed in the locker. That was a full-length locker. Back then, I don't even know if they got lockers these days anymore. But I stayed in the locker until everybody left in the school. There wasn't a soul in there. I think it took about 2 hours me sitting in that locker. And I waited in that locker until it was time for me to make my move. And I went over to the special ed classroom that I was in, because I was in special ed when I was a kid. And you know them little louvers that are above the doors, you know, they fold out like this. The Dixie horn, yeah, that's what they called it. Anyway, I put my foot on the doorknob, and they called me Spidey Man when I went to school, because I was always flexible, and I could go any place I wanted to go. Anyway, I flipped over the top, man, and I got in that desk, and I found my watch and a note next to it. I took the note, I wadded it up and stuck it in my pocket. I took the watch, put it back on my wrist, and right before I was about to walk out, I noticed, I said, man, these are keys. And they were substitute teacher keys. And so I went over to the door, went out the door and checked it, and it worked. And then I walked to the principal's office and checked it, and it unlocked. And then, you know, me as a criminal boy I said, man, maybe I can get into the safe. Let's see what's in there. And I walked into the room, you know, and unlocked the door, but the safe, you know, I couldn't crack that. I wasn't that good. And I even tried poking the tile up. I said, well, I'll just crawl up on top of the tile and then drop back down on top of the safe. Nope, they had it concrete all the way around it. I couldn't get in there. So I went to the coaches. I went to the coaches' PE room where I went, and I went in there. And I unlocked the door, and I walked in there and started going through the coach's desk, and I found the Coke machine keys. I said, oh boy, I can get me a free Coke. And so I took the keys and walked outside into the gym area and went over there and unlocked the Coke machine. Started drink. I think I've drank like 3-4 Cokes, and I started getting full. And I started to shut the Coke machine up, man, and then I got to looking. I said, wait a minute, this thing's got money in it. And if you think about it, man, at the end of I do recall, at the end of every day, there would be a line down the hall for the kids to be getting their Cokes, because you weren't allowed to drink Cokes during school hours, but you was allowed to stand in line, and you were welcome to get the Cokes and then leave, you know, on your way home. Well, I looked in there and the whole thing was full. And I dumped it in my pocket and I went home and I kept the keys to the school building and left. And I went home. Yeah, I locked the Coke machine all up, just acted, made it where it appeared that I wasn't even there. And I started counting the change out, man, and it counted up to about $75 in quarters. Because quarter, back then I think Cokes were 50 cents. So it only took, maybe 35, 40 kids to buy Cokes. And so I kept the keys, man, to that place, and I would periodically hit it. And then at 2 o'clock in the morning is when I made my move, man. I'd get on my bicycle and ride down to the schoolhouse and go get some court, go fill up my pockets, and then I would go to the Tootin' Total place I was telling you about. And I would walk in there, and the lady that was working there was a teenager. She was working nights, I guess. I don't know, but she wasn't that old. And finally, about the second or third time I showed up over there through the weeks, she says, yeah, $70 was nice for a kid. And I started playing video games. It was, what was that? Galaga. Where it goes, you got this thing that runs across the screen, you're supposed to shoot them, and then you get your capture your spaceship, and then the spaceship was over there. Man, I was getting high score on that thing, and finally about the third or fourth week into this crap, that I didn't hit it every day. I knew that if I hit it all the time, man, they was going to catch me. But anyway, the lady told me, she says, I don't know where you're getting this money. I don't even care. She says, Mama cut you some slack. Anytime somebody walks through that door, you hide. Hide behind the machine there, and you can just go on and play your games however you see fit. And I said, okay. But I think it might have been 4 months rolled by, my brother came to me. Because I wouldn't always go play video games. I'd go buy board games and Dungeons and Dragons. I loved to buy Dungeons and Dragons books. I was a Dungeons and Dragons fanatic with my brother. So we would go buy manuals with that money and roll my characters and roll the dice, man, and have loads of fun. But he came to me one day at the end of school. He says, man, you need to chill. And I go, why? He says, because a police officer pulled me out of class today and they asked me questions about you. Hey, I'm on live television here. It's live. You might as well say hi.
Good morning.
Good morning, she says. She's out here to smoke a cigarette, I guess. Can I have just one hit?
No.
No? She won't even let me have a puff. She knows how important it is for me to quit.
Goodbye.
Goodbye? Say goodbye. Oh, heck, just was watching the last video. Wow, some $70, some nice haha bombshell. Yeah. Anyway, I had to chill, man, and I took those keys and I hid them in a water meter, my own water meter. I buried them in the backyard, behind the backyard. It was behind the back fence, and I dug deep into the water meter and I hid them there. And then the police ended up getting in touch with my mom and dad, and they said, look, there's a lot of criminal activities going around in town right now, so you might consider sending your child away, because if you don't send him away, we're going to send him away, and he ain't going to like it, neither of y'all, where we send him. And where they were talking about sending me was in Canyon, Texas. It was a boys' home for criminals. Well, she took the easy route on me and checked me into Wichita Falls State Hospital. Where all the nuts are, So I stayed there. But anyway, that's the end of the story on that one, man. And but anyway, when I got back from boys' home, I guess that's not the end of the story, because after I got through with Wichita Falls State Hospital, they admitted me into Butner's Baptist boys' home in where was it? Beaumont, Texas. And I hope I'm still rolling. Am I still rolling? Yeah, I'm still rolling. I'm still rolling. Anyway, it was in Beaumont, Texas. How did they find out that it was used? They never did. They never could. Where are the keys? Anyway, I got checked into that other boy's home and I ran away. I got tired of it and I ran away. And I went to Trailways, and Trailways stipulations back then was for any reason at all, if there's a child that runs away from home, they'll give you a free ride home. So I told them I ran away from home and I wanted to ride home. And they did. They put me on the bus and they sent me home. Well, I showed up at home and I knew that Mom was going to send me back. And I went and it was during the day. I went and I broke into the house to the school building, and I stayed in the attic until late at night. And my plan was going to work. You know, I thought, man, I'm just going to keep hitting this change bucket and live on the money off of the Coke machines for a little while and see what happens. But the keys were still there in that water meter, and so I went back in there. And when I went back in there, man, all of a sudden, a siren went off, loud. Woo, 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 woo. I tell you what, man, that scared the hell out of me, man. So my plan failed. I didn't have no money I could live on. Didn't know how I was going to make it. And so the next morning, when it was daylight, I went and waited for my stepdad to go to work. And I walked in there and I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm here. And she says, what are you doing? They're looking everywhere for you. I said, who's looking for me? Who's looking for me? She says, the boys' home's looking for you. And I said, well, I don't want to go back to that boys' home. She says, I know, they're not going to take you back. They're that kind of a boys' home to where if you want to leave that bad, then we don't want you here. We don't want him here. If he's gonna want to run away and not want our help, then we're just gonna do that. So I stayed at home for about another 2 weeks, and Mom found me another boys' home, sent me off to another one, and this time it was in Waco Center for Youth. And I called it Wacko because there was just a bunch of other wackos in that place. But I stayed there for about 2 years and got out at the age of 16. And that's when I told y'all that story about wrecking the family van. Stayed there for about 2 or 3 weeks. My mom and dad left. They should have known that I wasn't going to be good if they left for 2 weeks, or about a week, I think it was. But just to sum it up on that story, yeah, when Dad got back, man, he was so mad at me. He says, "You're 16 now." He says, Mom got you a job down there at the grocery store, sacking groceries, so you're on your own. And I worked there for a little bit, and I worked at Pizza Hut for a little while. I know the story's long, but here it is, man. And I'll end it at the Pizza Hut story. But Pizza Hut worked out for a little while. I was struggling having to pay bills. Mom and every now and then throw a little cash my way to help pay for the electricity or whatever I was running short on. But I was learning how to work out there in the world. And one time, they ordered some cold drinks. Okay? And it was always customary. You had these little round trays that you served on. Okay? So I took the pizza order, oh, it's reconnecting? Okay. So when I picked the drink, I hope I is reconnecting. But anyway, I served the lady. When I took the lady's drink off the tray, he goes the drink. Man, he stood up. He had to go all the way home and change his drawers and his pants, and he came back. Is that what turned gay for pay? It's all good. Whatever. Anyway, I was upset because I didn't get a tip, man. I was real nice. I had a good slogan there at Pizza Hut, man. When children came in the door, I knew that if I gave them quarters out of my pocket to go play the video games while the pizza's being made, I was for sure to get a tip. That was a for sure thing. I got the kids out of the parents' hair, and they thought, well, that's nice of him. I'm going to give him a tip. And they'd always tip me good. But after that, I worked at Dairy Queen for a little while. And I'll tell you the story on this one, man. I worked for Dairy Queen for about a good 3 or 4 months, something like that. And after I worked for Dairy Queen, I got out of town because I didn't like small town, so I moved up here to Fort Worth. That's when I decided to move. It was when I hit Fort Worth. But I got fired from Dairy Queen because you know how when they first came out with them blizzards? They came out with them blizzards, man, and this guy come in there and he ordered some food, and he ordered a blizzard. And when you order the blizzard, man, you're supposed to go up to the customer and go like this. Well, the girl that took the order for the food in the blizzard, She was a girl, and she was fixing to go on break. She said, "Hey, will you go out there and hand this to the customer?" I said, "Yeah," and I'd already screwed up like 2 or 3 times on miscellaneous things. But the young lady that went on break, she's the one that made the blizzard. Well, I gave the guys food, and I turned that, you hand the blizzard upside down like this. I turned the thing upside down in the dude's lap. I got fired from Dairy Queen. That was it. But the girl did, I'm telling you, this is a true story. The girl did meet up with me later, and I'm not going to say what she did for me, but she made it worth the while. I'm going to keep it clean on this channel, but she made it worth a while, man. It was the first time I had ever had a good experience with a lady. Let's just put it that way, with a young lady. It was the very first time. That's how I lost my virginity, and it was all due to a malfunction blizzard. I don't know if it was worth it or not. I guess it was, man, because it was the first experience I ever had, and it just happened to be the young lady that gave me a kiss when I was 13. She gave me my first kiss when I was 13, and then that was when I was like 16, maybe between 16 and 17. But I was still young back then, and she told me, she says, "Well, I got to do something for you." She says, "You took the fall for me, and I kept my job." I said, "Well, you wouldn't have gotten fired." And she said, and she says, "Well, she said, I'll make it worth your while." But she said, I ain't perfect in my record neither. She says, "If I allowed to tell them it was me, you still ain't probably going to get to come back because they didn't like you anywhere in there." And I said, "Yeah, you're probably right." So we left it at that. But anyway, I'm going to get off here and let y'all go, man. But yeah, that was the first 3 jobs I have. Sacking groceries at Sack and Save. And then, or maybe it was Save and Gain. Yeah, it was Save and Gain. And then Pizza Hut. And then Dairy Queen. And then after that, it was hard labor up here at the bunkhouse, downtown Fort Worth. Tony Rogers, take care of Limpy. Anyway, I'll see y'all later, man. Y'all be good, man. And hey, thanks for doing my first live video feed with me. And there's some stories there, huh? So you got more out of me than just a knife story, huh? Can I act like a redneck? Ryan Monroe wants me to act like a redneck. Hey, y'all! Spit on it, pal! See y'all later, man. Limpster out.